Dr. Krista Harrell, PhD, is fabulous. When it comes to promoting women, when it comes to promoting people, when it comes to promoting good ideas and fostering good communication with one another, man, this woman's got it figured out. So I'm going to take a back seat to this lovely person who is beach born and raised, which I'm a little envious of that. I don't have to beach in Kansas, y'all. Anyway, without further ado, Dr. Krista Harrell.
Okay, so for those of you all that know me, hey, I don't like to be stuck behind this, but I learned from Melanie's fantastic presentation, which has champagne, and some of y'all got residual champagne because of her. I brought Starburst. I can't really move, and I can't really go in front of the screen. So this is where I am. I really apologize for that. As Susan mentioned, my name is Krista Harrell, and I'm so privileged to be here. This is such a phenomenal opportunity. There's some powerhouse boss women here. And my student Stephen, who likes to support boss women. So we're so excited and thrilled to be able to do this. Devin, Susan, Shelly, Stacy, the team that put this together is just amazing. So I'll talk about that in a moment. Devin asked me to do a session on fostering self-esteem in young women. And obviously fostering self-esteem can be applicable to young men, fostering self-esteem in each other, doing it for yourself. So take it for what it is, and we're going to go through and hopefully spend the next, some of you will keep time for me probably, 45 minutes or so sharing some information. So this is one of the things that I really love, it is our choices that show what we truly are far more than our abilities. I'm a Harry Potter fan. I'm okay with that. I'm confident about it. And it's true. And kudos to you for making the choice to come and to be a part of this inaugural phenomenal event. And I want to hear a little bit about why you all are here. If some folks don't mind, this will be interactive. So if anybody is willing to share kind of why they came to this particular session, and let me know your name because we're building our tribe. So in the back.
I'm Shannon Walker, and I manage a restaurant. I have tons of kids, a lot of females in their 20s, and I see a huge issue with, their confidence and self-esteem.
Sure.
I thought this would be probably perfect for me.
Well, I hope it is. I hope it is. Thank you. Blue shirt.
My name is Jennifer. I have 3 children, and 2 of those are girls. Oldest is 7, and I'm already seeing some stuff happening with her. So
Okay. Okay. Somebody else? Lee? I know your name.
I'm Lee Contrado, and I'm actually a youth minister at a church here in Mobile. So that's what I'm
In front. I'm putting my glasses on. Also not worried. Confident with them.
I'm Courtney Matthews, and I was a teen mom, and now that unfortunately I was very standoffish about the subject matter while my kids were growing up, because I was too afraid to embarrass them. But I've always felt led to be involved in educating girls. I had a different experience, had a very welcoming, loving family that were very supportive of me, and I know that's not usually the case.
Right.
So that's something that's really on my heart right now,
Good.
and I want to be involved.
Well, thank you for coming. We'll take one more. Hello, I know you too.
I'm Margaret Hickman. I'm the elder statesman in the room. I'm a grandmother, a retired educator, mother of 3 daughters, the aunt
Awesome.
of, I can't even count how many nieces, the grandmother of 2 beautiful granddaughters, and I do everything every day to foster their self-esteem. So I thought I might learn one more thing, and if you don't have copies of Rebel Girls, buy them for all the girls.
That's awesome. That's awesome. Well, one of the things too is if you are a social media person, like I've been forced to be working at the university, if you want to put the hashtag FWC self-esteem for this particular session, that way you can interact with each other afterwards if there's some things that come up. Again, this is really about, we're not going to be able to get through everything in 45 minutes about how to foster self-esteem, and you'll have everything you ever need to know out of this. It's lifelong learning about this for ourselves and for others. So continue to build your connection in your community. So I appreciate you all sharing that. Okay. So why am I here? I'm here because I am passionate about advancing women in all forms and fashions. You can call me a feminist if you want to. I'm okay with that. You can call me a warrior, for those of you all that know that I'm involved with V-Day or Vagina Monologues, I'm good with that. You can call me a friend, a sister, or whatever, but I love women. And I am proud to be able to have the platform, both at my job and in my roles in the community, to help advance women. It's so important for us to be able to do that with our young women and girls, but I'm just going to say young women. It's extremely important. I'm actually here because Devin asked me to be here. She had the confidence in me. I hope she still feels like it at the end of the session. She had the confidence in me to be able to share some stories and be able to hopefully get some dialogue and impart some additional information. So even if we learn one other thing, another thing that each of us can do, can you think about that ripple effect? It makes such a difference. This morning, walking in and Rachel talked about, she did so well in her opening keynote and just said being present in a moment and making connections with people. It's so important for somebody's self-esteem to be seen and be heard. And you'll see that a little bit throughout the presentation. A little bit about who I am. Susan mentioned I'm born and bred around the beach. I've always lived on the coast. Grew up in Virginia by way of Long Island, New York. Any New Yorkers in here? Yes. In the back. Woo! And made my way down the coast in North Carolina and then down to Alabama. And so coast life and living is important to me. It's my kind of, that just brings me energy and other people. And so I came to Mobile and have been here 5 years because I work with the University of South Alabama as the Associate Dean of Students and Title IX Coordinator there. And in my role, it is a privilege to be invited into students' lives every single day. And in the work that I do in particular, both with student support as Associate Dean of Students, as a Title IX Coordinator, supporting women and men that have been victims of sexual assault or other forms of violence, I have been very much personally connected to wanting to make sure we advocate and advance women, again, in all facets. So I'm really excited to be here. Some of the folks in the pictures, and I like pictures, I know Melody's thing was like, have a theme. You'll see I'm all over the place, which is probably indicative of who I am. But you'll see my mom, my family are in a couple of these pictures. Since this is about self-esteem and self-confidence, some of the photos I feel like I look nice in, I suppose. Or the people that I'm with that make me feel the very best. There's a couple photos of me traveling. The one at the bottom is of me in Scotland this year at the top of Arthur's Seat. If anybody's been to Scotland before, it's a fantastic view, and travel changes who you are at your kind of soul. So it's made me a more confident person. And I think Devin this morning talked about traveling Europe by yourself. I've yet to do that, but it's on my list. So that's a little bit about who I am. If you want to follow me on social media, because it's squished a little bit, it's Krista Harrell 96. That is the year I graduated high school. Also confident in saying that I'm almost 40. It's okay. But that's a little bit about who I am. So again, if you want to follow me on social media, Instagram or Twitter, or just so we can interact, that'd be great. What I want to spend this morning doing, very briefly, is talking about some themes that cultivate self-esteem. Also want to discuss the relevance and practice of each, again, because you want to walk away with something, right? Want to impart some personal takeaways, and you'll see in a moment I did not do this by myself. Had a tribe of women that was very excited to be a part of this session. Share some resources, and then, like, the whole day is about enhancing your network of strong women, like-minded people, to make sure that we move forward in this community in Mobile and make sure our young women do the same. So, let me see if there's anything else that I missed. I do want to say before I come up, I'm going to have, again, I did not do this on my own. When I was thinking about how am I going to approach this, I thought, wow, this is kind of a lot. If anybody's seen Dove's self-esteem campaign, which is beautifully done, that obviously, wasn't in part, they did a lot in 2 minutes, but they had a team of people working for a long time. I thought, oh gosh, there's going to be a lot of expectation. But then I thought, you know what? I'm a qualitative researcher by nature. I love to hear what people's rich stories are, so I thought I'm going to gather a group of women that are strong and that support the young women in our community here in Mobile and hear what they have to say about what they do and how they do it. Kendra Haskins, who's the Executive Director of Distinguished Young Women, Shantae Hendricks, who works in the Diversity Office in the College of Medicine at South Alabama, Justine Burbank, who works in English Language Center at South Alabama, but also is in the V-Day activities, Mackenzie Cunningham, who works with Whatever Ministries, who's fantastic, we got to meet, Jennifer Palamo Gregory, who works at Alta Point, and is a wonderful soul, and then 2 of my students, Savannah Sav Hoyt, who is a senior at South Alabama, and Madison Mocha Hunter. Both women were in the cast of Vagina Monologues with me, and you'll see that they're very strong. So I gathered them and asked them to share their stories with me, and you'll see through the snippets that we go through, they're inspiring. The conversation is beautiful. Forward, you have to have positive self-talk. Or, I've gained weight in the last few months. It's what's happened. But I don't feel like I'm any less beautiful than I was before. And those things are important. Surround yourself with positive people. Who has a positive tribe here? Who feels like they have wonderful people around them? Yeah, that makes such a difference, right? Negativity breeds negativity, right? Misery loves company. It's so important. And everybody has a bad day. Own that, that's okay. Everybody has a bad day, but make sure that you surround yourself with positive people and that you refute these negative stereotypes about what a woman should be, what we should look like, what we put on social media, all those things, and be you, and be comfortable being you. Highlighting talents and gifts. Mackenzie said that. She's a former South cheerleader, love her. And she mentioned helping them find their gifts. What do they bring to the table, right? Sometimes somebody else needs to see, have somebody see that in them first. One of the things I didn't mention at the beginning about why I'm here and why I decided to do this and who I am is because when I was younger, I wasn't the pretty one, right? I grew up with a lot of blonde hair, blue eyes, beach girls, right? Stereotypical. And I looked like I'm from New York. When you're a kid and you have the nose the size I do when you're 7, most people don't tell you you're beautiful. But I was always smart. People told me I was smart. So that's what I started to build, my gifts and talents there, until I felt comfortable and knew I was beautiful inside and out, right? But you have to have people acknowledging that in one another, and talents and gifts. Always stop by and say something to somebody. It could change their whole day, and we'll talk about that in a moment. So I think I hit all of them. And we're gonna move on. My hand's a little shaky, so for this next one, I get a little, it's off. Sorry, you're choosing the other.
The interview, and making sure that we realize that the interview is how you treat others. Just being able to love yourself and have other people see that through you, radiate off of you, it's a chain reaction. Being able to identify your feelings and being in tune with who you are is very important in the development of self-esteem.
When you're young, everything is controlled by your parents, by the school, by your friends to an extent. And if you're confident, you have the freedom to be yourself.
Be true to yourself and know that you can't control everyone around you. You can only control yourself and your reactions to what happens.
Hope is extremely important, I think, particularly for young women, because hope that you're going to get through this. I promise you there's another side, and you're going to come into who you are, and then there's going to be rocky roads. We all have it, right? But as you build that self-esteem, you build that self-confidence. You don't feel like everything has to be perfect.
The theme of that piece for me is hope, right? Hope makes such a difference when you're talking about self-esteem. And, right? And letting go of perfection. When you were a little girl, did everybody have this idea of who you thought you were going to be when you were a teenager or a grown woman? Just perfect, I'm going to be wife, mother, career woman, all those things, right? It probably turned out a little bit different than you thought. And we have to let our young women know that that's okay, right? And being imperfect is beautifully perfect. Your imperfections make you. Their imperfections make them them. The interview part. We're such a visual society. Everything is about what you can see here, right? To a lot of people, you have to dig deep, get down in it. Sit across from a table and learn from somebody, right? Give our young women the opportunity to do that. I work on a college campus, and many of you work with young people as well. They stay here. They stay here. So their images of other young women are two-dimensional, right? So they don't necessarily, and I don't always downplay social media, because there's some beautiful things that come out of it. You can share light and love through social media too, and lift people up. But when all you see is that, and you're comparing yourself to that, that's challenging. Jennifer, who's beautiful and so soft-spoken, mentioned acknowledgement of feelings. Help them recognize what their feelings are and addressing them. When you can identify your feelings and start to understand why you feel like, or they feel like, inferior to somebody, or something else is going on, so they can address it then, when they're 6, or 16, or even 26. So when they're my age, or 46 or 50, they're not still grappling with the same things because they never acknowledge their feelings. Nobody helped them identify them or let them share them, right? That's important. Justine mentioned confidence equals freedom. Hell yes, it does. Yes, it does. I pretty much don't care what people think. I don't. My mother, probably. My grandmother was still alive, my father. And maybe my nieces and nephews. In a sense that I am who I am unapologetically because I try to be a good person. When a young woman has the opportunity to have self-confidence, that self-esteem, think of all the things they know they can do, right? Think of all the things they know they can do. Be true to you. One of the quotes that I've had in the bottom of my email address since I worked at UNC Wilmington was, be a first-rate version of yourself, not a second-rate version of somebody else. I don't want to be anybody else. I don't want you to be anybody else. There's already me. There's already Lee. There's already you. Right? Be a first-rate version of you. And help our young women understand that. Right? Help them understand that. Last one.
To listen to somebody before you think that the person is going to try to solve it. I've really found the best place to start and to give them space is to listen and ask questions first before you start telling your story and what you did because it may not fit their particular situation.
We either have people in the world that's making a difference positively or negatively, but I feel like there's a big chunk of us that go through the motion of day by day, not shining, being dull. We're good with being mediocre, living the life of this is life, this is what it's like, you know, stop being mediocre. Find that gift and talent and use it to make a difference. Listen to yourself. Really listen to yourself. Are you inspiring somebody? Are you tearing yourself down? What are you doing with that talk? I catch myself, 5, 6, 7 times a day going, oh, nope, shouldn't have said that. And then try to move forward because they pick up on that. Everybody picks up on that. They hear it. They think, well, if she doesn't have it together, then what hope do I have?
I feel like the one thing you ladies should know is that the sky has never been the limit. It's your mind.
It's easy to get swept up in like how you look all the time. And it's really easy to think like, oh, I want to look like these girls on Instagram, or oh, I want to look like these other girls I see on campus. And I think that it's really important to remember that you don't have control over everything. You can't always control how you look. Some days you're going to wake up and your hair's going to look horrible. Some days you're going to wake up and your skin's not going to behave. But what you can control is like how you act and how you are to other people. If you can empower yourself and you can have that faith that you are able to do it, that you are willing to do it, I think those are skills and tools that you need to be able to succeed in life.
Well, and I think that's one of those things too is that, I love the sense of hope and optimism and that we can really take on anything because you're uniquely you and you're beautiful and what you do has value and matters and you make a contribution.
I'm not doing any more squats for the week.
Hey, Krista.
Yeah.
You could take that, there's like a case or something over there that's black to the right of your hand. You could put that in front of it and rest the mic on it, and then you don't have to squat.
You're so smart. Thank you.
Sorry.
That's okay. I think that might be the last video, but I appreciate it. That's good, in case there's another one that I forgot. These were the ladies' personal takeaways. I thought that they were wonderful. The no limits part. Mocha, her name's Madison, she goes by Mocha, is a poet, if you couldn't tell. She just speaks beautifully. And, it is our mind a lot of the time that holds us down. So a lot of the time these young women get in their heads that they aren't good enough, they aren't smart enough. Help them remember there is no limit, right? There is no limit. Listen and ask questions. Listen. How often are are you thinking about what you're going to say when somebody's talking, right? Particularly with young people. You guys, students come to my office all the time, right? And I got 15,000 things to do. I have to make a cognizant effort to be present in that moment and really listen and ask them questions about how they're doing. It makes such a difference. Everyone has their story. Everyone today, all these phenomenal boss ladies, are talking about their story. That helps connections. That helps them feel valued, right? But it helps everybody else too. It's important. Inspire with words. Justine talked about that and talked about that a little bit earlier. What are you saying? What is your dialogue and monologue? And what are you speaking with? And how do you engage with other people? Catch yourself, right? Think really about it. Be intentional with your words. Let go of control. Sometimes it's not going to end up the way you think it is. And there's some freedom and beauty in that. Treat others well. I'm going to totally crush whatever this saying is. But the golden rule is treat others how you want to be treated. I think it's supposed to be like this new one. It's like the platinum rule. Treat them how they want to be treated. You know what I mean? I want to make sure people feel like people are listening to them and know what they need and know what they want. Goes one step ahead of just treat them like, how you want to be treated. No, treat them how they want to be treated. Treat them well. Treat each other well. Today, take time to treat somebody well, right? Be kind to one another. It makes a difference. Don't compare yourself. I'm sure today you've walked around and I wish I had that dress on. I like her glasses better. You know what I mean? Don't compare yourself. It should. The only person you should be comparing yourself is to make sure you're a better version of you from the day before, right? That makes a difference too. And I think the have faith, hope, and love, right? That's my favorite. All the Bible stuff, I love it the most, right? Faith, hope, love. Those things carry you through, and they will carry a young person through. I meant it when we were talking about middle school. I was really talking about myself, right? Knew it couldn't be forever. Right? But it was a moment in my life that made me who I was. Made me resilient, right? Made me look for the things that mattered the most. We have to help our young women do the same thing. We have to help them do the same thing. Your takeaways. And it's so funny because, she also had a Brene Brown quote, and I love her, and I've seen Brene a couple of times. I'm fortunate through my work to be able to see her. And this is one of my favorite quotes of hers, is, owning our story can be hard, but not nearly as difficult as spending our lives running from it. Embracing our vulnerabilities is risky, but not nearly as dangerous as giving up on love and belonging and joy. The experiences that make us the most vulnerable. Only when we brace enough to explore the darkness will we discover the infinite power of our light. Allow them to feel vulnerable. Allow them to be who they are. And, don't try to make them perfect, right? Allow them to be who they are and experience what that is as long as they go, because then they're going to really find their true light. And I really like that about Brene's. Now I want to hear some of your takeaways from, and tell me your name too.
Yeah, I'm sorry, I'm losing my voice.
Oh, okay.
Constance Rice is my name. I'm a girl mom. I'm a twin girl mom. And I'm a twin girl mom with children who both have autism. So a lot of things go with that. And everything these women say is exactly what I try to foster in my girls. What I've done with them, they're 4, they're nonverbal. One of them has very low self-esteem, a lot of anxiety, and one is the opposite. She knows she's amazing, and she needs everybody else. So I've kind of found with them that I allow them to do, or I put them in activities that they love, and that's helped their confidence so much. Not necessarily things they were great at, but things that I could see a sparkle in their eye. So Stella Harlow is my twin, who's a rock star, and she knows everything, is all about Stella. She loves horses, so she's in equine therapy. Harper Lind, she loves music, so she loves classical music, so she's in ballet, and they're beautiful at riding weekends. And I found with my daughters that when I put them in something they like and they get better at it every week, when we take them, that it trickles down to them being able to speak and them being able to control their moods, and it's just so beautiful to see one thing they do in this group of people that they're around that help them in their activities just boost this confidence and happiness
They have environments that foster
They do.
that, right? in
They
people.
do.
Excellent, good.
So try to place yourself like the children or whoever you're working with, always in situations that provide that positivity and growth.
That's right. Other takeaways from the things that the ladies said or that we've mentioned this morning so far? Lee?
Yeah, being a youth minister, it's really easy to want to teach and to always speak and try to instill things in the youth girls especially. I work directly with middle school. But something that I thought was really valuable there is that we don't always have to speak first, and it's to listen and ask questions and let them tell their story, let them share what's going on in their lives, because it will blow you away, and you'll be like, never mind, my story has nothing on what you're going through. But it's super important to hear them first before we just speak kind of our story into their lives.
And a lot of what the ladies are saying, see, obviously the way you see it set up is, I mean, that was kind of the build, is Kendra learned that. You know, she's a very strong woman, and I think it took her a lot of time, and I appreciated her authenticity in sharing that. You know, and it's important for them to feel like you listen. Again, young women and for us. Other takeaways people want to mention? And tell us your name.
I'm Michelle. I'm also a girl mom. I have
Girl mom. Anybody else a girl mom? I don't have kids, but yes. But boy moms too.
My children are young, but my oldest gets a lot of attention for her whatever, lots of things. But it worries me that the three younger ones are going to always feel like they have to live up to that, or hear her getting attention and feel like they're not good enough. So it really spoke to me when she was saying, look for a trait that they might not see in themselves and learn to celebrate that. And they're still really young, so they maybe haven't developed that yet, but that is going to be what I do now for them.
Excellent. Side note, I'm sure that James is filming and he can do voiceover over this. I did not see you coming because I just took my glasses off. James Palamo is the one behind the video you saw, and I was going to thank him at the end, but he walked in, so I'm going to thank him now. And he is a man that supports women. Thank you. And orange.
I actually have a
And tell us your name.
I'm Carrie. I'm the communications director for a church. Christ United Methodist Church. I'm just going to pick that up. And I'm a mom to two, I think, amazing young ladies, 18 and 20. And I have a question because I'm dealing with a role reversal that's happening with my freshman. She's away at Auburn. She's my middle child, a little go-getter, all A's, been a star, entire high school, middle school, and elementary, Zaire Trail Maid, you know, all of the things that you imagine about ladies having to do. She's a go-getter, she did it. She's in college now. And I'm seeing where my introverted child, who worked very hard to be extroverted, is now reverting back to her natural tendencies of being introverted. And so we're dealing with, what are you doing? I'm just getting my room. So she's either hard at work.
You said she's a freshman or a sophomore?
Yeah, she's a freshman. So you're dealing with college girls.
Yes.
So she's either hard at work, but she studies to be an architect, so she is in the studio all the time, or she's in the room.
Okay. Well, and I'm not sure, I should probably wait till you actually ask the question.
So my question to you, all these things that you talked about are things that I have continuously worked with my girls when they were little and saw it happen. But she's in college now, and I sense she's forgetting some things.
Well, and I don't want to claim to be an expert in this. I have worked in higher ed for about, well, I'm going to date myself, 16 years, right? And there's a number of other people that probably can answer this too. I think my immediate response to kind of your question in the scenario that you gave is that she's finding herself. Okay, first year, I don't care if you were, woo, like she was, and she can get there like, oh my God, Auburn's big. I'm not the big fish anymore. Like, what is happening? She's probably trying to get her bearings, one. Two, she might be overwhelmed. She's got, it seems like, a heavy load. And I feel for those students, particularly those that are in demanding programs early on. But she's probably just trying to find herself. And it's not unusual. Let me tell you, this is advice, though I don't normally give that, is keep at it with her, okay? But don't make her feel bad for having this kind of moment, because we see, now it can be pivotal, like you know, she needs to get out of her room a little.
Yes.
She needs to have like some social stuff. I don't even care what that is. Go to the library and study. You know, that's social. You'll see people. They might talk to you. Get off your phone. But I think let her have a little bit of time. You know what I mean? And I think the first 6 to 8 weeks of
So don't be alarmed yet.
don't be alarmed yet. If when she comes home for Thanksgiving or fall break or Christmas, and her personality's changed and moods, we can talk afterwards, but I would not be alarmed. I think this is part of, college is about finding who you are. When I talk about orientation, I'm like, you're gonna be a different person in 4 years, right? Potentially, you're finding out who you are, that's the place to do it. So, other thoughts or takeaways about?
Can I make a comment to her?
You absolutely, and tell us your name.
My name's Jennifer.
Hey, Jennifer.
I was that girl. I was in high school, trail band, all that stuff, and I went to Auburn, and I was and my dad is the best at, he's like the best males, but sometimes not. But I remember I was talking to him, he was like, what'd you do today? I just did class, I went to work, what are you doing tonight? It's Friday. I was like, I'm just staying in. And he made the comment, you mean nobody's gonna get to meet you? That's such a shame.
That's wonderful.
Oh, well. I don't know, just a little snippet statement like that. It stuck with me throughout the rest. And so every time somebody would say, we're going bowling or we're going, you know, this, and I'd be like, it's a chance for somebody to meet me.
And that's beautiful. And those are the things, right? Her dad kept up. Her dad kept at it, right? And didn't make her feel badly, but said something to her at some point that caught on, right? And that's true. Somebody wants to meet her. She's got a lot going on. Somebody with time. How long do I have? One more question. Okay. Well, I'm gonna give it this. Okay, real quick before I take it, you'll see the Women of the World Unite. I got to go to U2 last week with a good really friend. Hey, girl. Yes. Our seats were way up, but we didn't care.
Me too.
Yes. But it was incredible. They had this whole part of the show. I mean, if it wasn't 10 minutes long, about powerful women.
Yes.
And I was like crying. I'm like, come on, Bob. But it was awesome. And so I want to put that up there. But a couple of quick things too, and I'll take a last question, is I just want to make sure that you understand that you have the power to do this every single day, every single second, every single moment in what you do. No pressure. And it just takes little things. You don't have to do monumental things to help somebody foster their self-esteem. A friend, a young person, you know, whomever that you see needs it, because we all sometimes need a boost. I want to give extreme thanks to James for doing this. He made us look beautiful and just gave such a nice backdrop to the conversation and let the conversation lead. You weren't overwhelmed by other things. He did a beautiful job with that, and thank you for being an advocate. I want to thank publicly the 7 women that were in the filming with us. I purposely chose them, and you have a little handout for me that's from us, that I asked them a series of questions about the things that boost their self-confidence. Some of them are silly. I also asked them for quotes that empowered them and inspired them, people that they follow on social media that inspire them and build confidence to foster self-esteem, books that they've read. And if you're interested, I'll share all of that in a resource guide if you just tweet at me and let me know, or if you come up and tell me afterwards. I'm happy to do that. But I wanted you to, I chose people from the community because I want you to connect with them. These are women that are doing it every day and making a difference. And on the back of your sheet, there should still be a little sticky note. If you're willing to, write down a thing that boosts your confidence or that fosters your self-esteem. That would be great. And if you want to put it in this little jar, that would be excellent. And I know we're out of time, so I want to thank you all for coming. And if you want to ask me questions after, that'd be great. Go team.
Thank you.
Thank you. Can we just give her one more round of applause?